Alright, this is how they remove the exhaust off a 1995 Corvette. Tools you'll need: 15mm wrench, ratchet, deep socket, 13mm wrench, short socket, flathead screwdriver, magnet, jack stands, all the normal stuff, just getting it in the air. Okay, toughest bolts will be the ones connecting the exhaust manifolds or headers on the Corvette. There's 3 bolts and nuts on the driver's side holding a coupling in place, and a band clamp holding the passenger side exhaust together. All the bolts and band clamp are 15mm. The bottom 2 of the coupling are easy to reach. The third on the top, however, is a pain. I went at it with the wrench sticking out in between the transmission and the exhaust. I have an automatic transmission, so it might be a little different for the manual transmissions. Use some WD-40 or any penetrating oil you have if they haven't been off in a while. That'll help loosen everything up. You might also need a torch, just in case they're on there so bad, there's so much rust, you might just have to torch them off. The one in between on the top, that's very hard to get to. I was only able to get one click at a time with the ratchet, so just be patient with that one and eventually it will come off. The other thing that might happen is, instead of the nut just coming off, you might end up getting the whole nut and stud off. But if that happens, just keep going, and then once everything's back in, everything's all the way out, just go ahead and put the stud in a vise, take out the nut, put the stud back in place, and then when you reinstall it, put the nut back on. Remove the band clamp, pretty straightforward. Undo it as far as possible. There's a little dimple on it that holds it in place, so you use a screwdriver to get up there and get it off the pipe. So you just get it to where it's loose, and then you'll be good. Then if you go all the way to the back of the car, there are 2 hangers that support the mufflers. There's 2 studs directly on the mufflers. Then there will be the hangers, and then 2 15mm nuts. If you remove the nuts, then the hanger should be pretty loose. They'll just be supporting the weight of the exhaust though. So get a jack and jack it up right in between where the 2. So if you're looking at the exhaust from the back, see where the exhaust starts going towards into the car and where they start collecting, and there should be a little bracket there with 2 13mm nuts. If you jack it up right there, you'll be at the center of mass, and that'll give you a really good jacking point on the exhaust. Once it's jacked up and there's no weight in the back, you can pull the hangers off the studs and then just let them sit there, because they won't come all the way out until you completely lower the exhaust. Then go towards the front, and then you'll see they're about in the middle area. You'll see 2 brackets with 13mm bolts on them, and they have springs on the top that let the exhaust hang. So undo both of those. So there's 4 bolts total between the 2 hangers, and then just remove those out of the way. Put something under the front of the exhaust, right where it starts to collect again in the 2 pipes. That way when you pull the exhaust off, it'll just fall down and hit that. So now with everything taken off, go to the back, and then start lowering the exhaust. The exhaust should just go almost all the way to the floor if you let it. But keep it about a foot up in the air, because it's still being attached to the exhaust manifolds. Then just wiggle back and forth. You might have to use some WD-40 or a torch to heat up the pipe on the passenger side. The driver's side should slip right off if all the bolts are out, and then the passenger side takes a little bit of persuasiveness to get it off. And then once you get it off, then you'll be able to completely lower the exhaust and slide it right out. Alright, that'll completely do it. And there's the final pictures of everything out, and when it's all the way out. Alright, if you guys have any questions, please comment. I'll reply, and there'll be captions and information.